And by a show of hands, how many of you have children? And your children, you try to raise them the best way you know how. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
We try to do the best as we can as parents to raise our children. But sometimes they may go astray when they get in their teens or they feel that they're grown. They might not listen to us and join the wrong crowd, join a gang, and end up in prison. Do any of y'all ever think y'all children will end up in prison?
Not really.
Well, from a corrections officer point of view, working in a correction facility, is it something that y'all think y'all could ever do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this presentation is going to give you some information on a correctional officer and how they could handle themselves and how they go through the job hiring and the agility test and everything for the hiring process. Okay. The first things first, a correctional officer is responsible for the safety, the custody, and the supervision of the offenders, making sure they stay inside of the prison to not harm the community, themselves, or other offenders, or staff members. As correctional officers, we have to ensure rules, regulations to the offenders to make sure that they're doing what they have to do. Another thing is we have to keep the peace in the prison to make sure that there's no riots. Other things like rape, which is called PREA, and that's a hotline that the offenders call if they're raped. We have to conduct searches that the offenders may not have contraband. Contraband is anything that they're not supposed to have in the prison, like cell phones, shanks that they make themselves, drugs, anything that's not prohibited in the prison system. We, as an officer, have to transport inmates to hospitals, courts, funerals, but for the funerals, they have to be immediate family. We also have to transfer offenders to other institutions, also called the bullpen. And the bullpen is when you go to this big pen and all the institutions will be parked there and they trade off offenders. So they can go into the proper institution that they need to be in. We also have tactical teams that handle riots, hostage situations, breakouts, and other emergency situations that might happen in a correctional institution. But the job requirements for a correctional officer in the state of Virginia, you have to have your high school diploma or GED. You also have a clean record. You can have a misdemeanor, but not a felony. And no domestic violence charges, because they don't tolerate that. Also a valid driving license, because you have to go on transportation, taking the inmates back and forth, and you have to have your license for that. You also have to have a drug screening test when you first go in for your interview. And after that, after the hiring process, and you be working as a correctional officer, they will have random drug tests that you have to go through. And it's a swab test, not a P test. Before you even get hired, you have to have a physical fitness test, which is called a PEEP. And that is a physical agility test that you have to do sit-ups, push-ups, and have to do an endurance run. And some of the God values that being a correctional officer have is the offender goes through a reentry program, which helps them get ready for society. Like if they've been locked up 20 years, a lot has changed in 20 years that, a lot of things have changed. So it gets them ready for, it's like a community from 8 to 4, and they have to make their beds and do all that stuff. Get ready for the real world. The next thing is the evidence-based practice, which is called EBP, and that's something that has been proven to work, so they want to do it. Like treating the inmate a certain way, and when they get out, they don't come back, so they do it again to the other inmates because it's evidence that it's working, that they don't be habitual offenders. Defenders have a chance to get their lives together. They got a lot of time to think. They can enroll in school. They can take trades. They can get their GED. It's just like being out in the real world, but they are complied in the room or whatever. Defenders are able to attend church. They have a lot of church programs. Whatever your domination is, they have it there. If you believe in witchcraft, they have it there. It's called Wicca. If you're a Jehovah's Witness, they have that there. If you are Muslim, they have 3 or 4 different kind of Muslims there, and they have Baptists, and people come to the institutions like pastors, speakers. They come and talk to the offenders, and every day on the job, God is with you. You just have to keep them, get to praying, and let them know that they matter in the world. You know, but a correctional officer is a good job to have. I myself is a correctional officer, and I enjoy it. I like helping people. But that's all. Does anybody have any questions?
Explain God values again. The meaning of God values.
Well, I just picked a couple of things to me that mean God values that could be in the prison system. Is that it? Well, that can.
What about evidence-based practice?
You should have asked this when. Oh, boy, you didn't mess the thing up. Evidence-based practice is things that have been shown to work in the correction. The director, Mr. Clark, have been studying for like a year or two how this works, and he says that he wants to run his institutions this way, so we have to do it his way because he's the director. But it's evidence showing that the way he wants things to work is going to work. It's going to have the offenders not coming back. So that's the evidence-based practice.